What is going on, Super Affiliate Network family? Misha Wilson here, coming at you for another episode of Marketing with Misha. And I want to talk about something today that's incredibly important when it comes to creativity, when it comes to kind of productivity and general happiness, just kind of more or less when you're in the process of building your business, even when you're successful after you've broken through. Let's say you're making 6 figures, making 7 figures, still this lesson holds true. So let me know what your name is and where you're coming in from. Going live in the group now. They seem to have changed the settings on the Facebook page. Got to figure out how to go live over there via my mobile phone. But cool, we got a couple of people on here with me live, and I want to go ahead and get this show on the road. So I want to talk today for just a few minutes about the importance of really kind of more or less just distancing yourself from any and all negativity, and the importance of always kind of more or less latching on to positivity and latching on to people in your life who really kind of more or less reinforce the different positive influences that are helping you move towards the goal of going ahead and being successful within your business, right? So for those of you who know me personally, for those of you who hang out with me, you probably know that I tend to be a super positive guy. I tend to be kind of more or less, always in a pretty good mood. Even when things are tough, I tend to kind of more or less, find a way to look at it from a positive and look at it kind of, in a solution-oriented manner, and really kind of more or less, instead of looking at it as just a problem, looking at it as an opportunity to, once we solve that problem, to of course have more opportunity within the business and life, just kind of more or less day-to-day living. And that's just kind of more or less how I operate. That's how I've always been. I associate with positive people, and it really allows me to move forward, and it allows me to, I think, have more energy than a lot of people, to get more done on a daily basis, and to have kind of more, sustained inspiration within my journey based on the fact that I have positivity, right? But the last week or so has just kind of been different for me because we've had a couple of different things. Firstly, I'm not going to name the names of the companies, obviously, but we obviously had the one company in our space go down. And that brought a bunch of really concerned people to me, really kind of more or less, coming to me, voicing their concerns about what we have going on in just kind of a really kind of, not negative, but just stressed out manner, and in a manner that, was, while it wasn't negative, it wasn't positive, right? And if you're concerned, if you're one of those people, check out the little Facebook Live or the Facebook post I did within the group last week. We'll be fine. Again, we have a really good lawyer looking at everything right now, double checking the model, looking at where the mistakes were made before. But, we have that, and we had that happen, we had that occur, we had a bunch of people come to me, and I kind of more or less have been talking to people about it for the last week. And no matter which way you spin it, when a company gets taken down by the FTC, it's never a positive thing, all right? You're talking about something heavy, you're talking about something that people have a lot of fear attached to, and you're talking about something that, just isn't the most fun to talk about, because people lost a lot of money and people lost businesses overnight, and just in general, it's not a good situation, right? And then in the same breath, I'm talking to, lawyers throughout the week. I'm talking to, people about all the little things, that got other companies in trouble in the past. I'm looking at other companies that have gotten in trouble in the past. I'm looking at other, systems that have gotten in trouble in the past. And it's all stuff we have to do. It's due diligence that we have to do, but it's always just kind of more or less focusing on the negative and really kind of more or less filling my mind the entire week with all of these different negative stories, right? Negative stories about this, negative stories about that. Of course, what just happened, going back and forth with different attorneys and so on and so forth. And, it's one of those things where I can tell for a fact that it has brought my level of inspiration down. It has brought my level of being able to produce, all day, every day, Guy, send a message to support if you'd like a refund, please. You can hop off this Facebook Live if you want, send a message to support, and they'll get you refunded immediately. So essentially, though, I've just noticed that my levels of productivity have come down. I've noticed that, my ability to be inspired and work towards my vision has come down. My really ability to focus on the vision of the company, which is really what I focus on nonstop, which is what allows me to produce on a daily basis, has come down. I've been less inspired to, put in the time for the creative thinking. I've been less inspired to put in the time when it comes to the actual work. I've been less inspired to put in the time when it comes to just kind of more or less working on the vision that pulls me towards going ahead and completing the work, all because of all of these different negative influences that have been coming into my life, and which I've had to actually embrace and really look at and really kind of take some time to go over, right? So usually within my life, if anything's negative, I cut it off very quickly, right? If a certain individual tends to be really negative, I'll at least have a conversation with them about it. And then if they can't stop, I just kind of cut it off. I cut that communication off. If, there's something out there that's negative, I don't watch it. I don't watch the videos on YouTube that are all negative based. I don't, listen to the news, which is completely and totally fear driven. I don't listen to the different, sources of entertainment, different sources of kind of more or less news out there that really the only goal of those actual stations are to really fill your mind with negativity based on the fact that people are drawn towards the negative, which as a result ends with you being less productive and ends with you getting less done. So I constantly remove myself from those things as much as humanly possible. And on the flip side, I'm constantly feeding my mind with the positive, all right? So I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, and every single time I'm in the gym, I'm listening to, podcasts, Self-Made Man, Entrepreneur on Fire, a couple of other ones I really like, the Tony Robbins podcasts. And between those, I have constant, good stuff, constant, stories of success, constant stories of people creating their breakthroughs, constant stories of taking their business to the next level, constant stories of self-improvement, constant stories of really what's possible in life. And that allows me to really be anchored to all of those good stories when I'm trying to build my business and take my business to the next level, all right? And this is something that I still do to this day, even though the business is doing really well, even though the business is really just, growing at record pace, and even though the business continues to grow at record pace, these are all things that I do on a daily basis, which allow me to keep pushing forward, all right? Because the truth is, right when you get momentum, right when you start to see success, right when you start to pick up kind of progress in your business, have progress in your business, I should say, that's when you want to double down. That's when you want to go as hard as humanly possible. That's when you want to kind of more or less put your foot, pedal to the metal and go completely and totally all out, because once you have momentum in your business, it is so much easier. And give me some likes, comments, hearts, shares. Type in a quick 1 in the comments box below if you guys are getting value. But once you have momentum in your business, it is so much easier to keep it. And what I've found is it is so much easier to get yourself to take inspired action. It is so much easier to get yourself up in the morning taking action. It is so much easier to get yourself, focused on your goals and taking action towards your goals if you're coming from a state of positivity, if you're coming from a state of inspiration, and if you're coming from a state of inspiration based on the fact that you're not associating with the negative crap out there in the world, based on the fact that you are associated with the positivity out there in the world, based on the fact that you're looking at the good in the world, you're looking at, the good in people, you're looking at the good in human beings, you're looking at, all of the ways, we've improved over the years instead of how we've, gone backwards in some areas. If you focus on the positive, if you anchor yourself to the positive, and if you're constantly filling your mind with those stories, I can tell you firstly, from being taught it 1,000 different times, that you absolutely will be more productive. And I can tell you secondly, through my own personal experience over the last week or so, and it's been important that I've been focusing on those things. It's been important that we've taken the time to do that, because you have to do your due diligence. You have to know your risks in your business. You have to know, what you don't know, what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, and sometimes the stuff that you don't know can really get you hurt, right? And so it's really important that I've taken the time to focus on those kind of negative areas in my business. But I can tell you for a fact that based on the fact that I've been focused on the negative, based on the fact that I haven't been, as anchored to positive stories, to, all the different things that I mentioned a moment ago, I've been less inspired. I've been less kind of more or less, waking up wanting to, tear through the day like I usually do. And on the flip side, I've been a little bit more complacent. I've been a little bit, less action oriented. And in general, things don't move as quickly when you're operating from that perspective and, through that frame. So that's my message for you here today. Give me some likes, comments, hearts, shares one more time. And we're pretty much, you know, not completely and totally done with the stuff that I'm doing that's keeping me focused on the negative, but we're to a point where I can focus on it a little bit less, so I can get back to my routines of, you know, focusing on the positive, you know, getting in the gym, working out, you know, listening to my podcasts, and distancing myself from all that stuff. So you should see some Facebook Lives from me coming up here in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, and I'll get back to my regular routine here. But associate with the positive, distance yourself from the negative. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you guys all very soon. All right, guys, later.